Hello, everyone. I'm Ananda, the Galactic Mystic, and this is Navigational Astrology. Let's get into this Pisces full supermoon of 2023. This is the closest supermoon we're going to have all year. This is big. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to my channel. On this channel, I talk a lot about astrology, personal development, mysticism, folk magic, all sorts of stuff. Welcome if this is your first time. Welcome back to all of my awesome subscribers. I appreciate you all so very much. You may know that I've been taking a little bit of time off, kind of quasi time off, not really taking time off, but I'm taking a period of time of trying to do a little bit less. And I invite you to do that as well, because Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. This is our mutable water sign. And you know, there's something about play with Pisces. There's something about not so much efforting, but doing it in a way that feels joyful, that is nurturing. We have Saturn in the room, so he has some things to say. We'll talk about that in a minute. But first, I really want to kind of get into this mutable water energy. In Pisces, energy is the most dissipated that it can get. You can think of this, well, I think of Pisces as the realm right before incarnation. It is the non-physical. There is no physicality to Pisces. It's all dreams. It's all dreamland. It's all spirit. There are no boundaries. There are no hard limits. And if we think of that along this kind of, what in nature would mutable water be? Because thinking about this in relation to nature and to the elements is a really helpful way to connect with this energy. So mutable energy is energy that is changing into something new. It is no longer what it once was. It is in a transformational stage of becoming something new. And if we think of that spiritually, like I was saying a moment ago about Pisces being that place before incarnation, the spirit world, or whatever you call that, however you think of that, pre-incarnation, pre-physicality. We're changing into something new. We're becoming something else. So mutable water, what would that be, right? What would mutable water be? Well, think about fog, mist, steam, and even ice. These are all forms of water that are kind of something else. And specifically, when we think about like steam or fog or mist, that is particularly associated with Pisces because Neptune, one of Pisces' rulers, is kind of that lord of fogging things up so that we have to go within. With the sun in Virgo, this full blue supermoon in Pisces, we're going to have to go within. We're going to have to go within, and issues that are near and dear to our hearts are likely going to be caught up in the powerful tides of this full blue supermoon. It's a mouthful. So it's our second full moon of the month. That's why it's blue. It's the closest to Earth it's going to be all year. That's why it's super. And actually, this is the last full blue supermoon we are going to have until I think it's 2037. It's going to be a minute. So this is a big one. So let me pull up the chart. Well, actually, first of all, let me tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to talk a little bit about this full moon, and then I'm going to go straight into messages for all the signs. These are, of course, general readings. I know you know the drill. Take what is yours, leave what is not, and at least check your sun sign and your rising sign if you know it, and continue on if you know the signs of all of your planets and you want to see how this energy may be, say, affecting your Mars sign or your Venus sign. Have at it. I will have time thingies in the description box below or in a comment maybe. So go find that to make it easier for you to navigate. So let me pull up this chart and let's look at it together. Okay, so here is our full moon chart. This is our Pisces. Oh no. Oh, actually, this is interesting. This is not our full moon chart. This is actually the new moon we had in Pisces in February. And this is actually, oh, Spirit, thank you. I was going to mention this and I totally forgot. So this full moon is a culmination of something that began in February, around that time. Now, not every lunation, not every full moon, not every new moon is a big deal for everyone. Okay, so let's just get that out there. If this was also a super moon in February, this Pisces new super moon, if something happened in your life that was big, important, that changed things at that time, this full moon is going to be a culmination, a choice point, a crossroads of that issue or topic in your life. Now, notice that, now again, this is February, this is not now. Saturn was also conjunct this new supermoon in February. Okay, Saturn had not yet entered Pisces, but was closely conjunct this new moon. Okay, let me get the correct chart. Okay, here's the correct chart. So this is our chart for the Pisces full super blue moon happening August 30th, 2023 at 9:35 p.m. and that is Eastern time. Okay, so look here. Here is our moon. A full moon is always a sun-moon opposition. We have the sun at 7 degrees of Virgo, moon at 7 degrees of Virgo, and look, here's Saturn. So Saturn is he is the guide for this cycle of Pisces that we are in. So from this full moon until the next Pisces new moon next year, we will be integrating whatever it is that comes up for us this full moon. Now, we have this hurricane coming, hitting Florida. Whenever there's a supermoon, the tides are stronger. Not only the pull on the actual ocean, but the pull of our own emotions, of our own emotional waters. You know, Pisces, as the ruler of the 12th house, is a sign of endings. Saturn, well, a sign of endings, among other things, is also there's a lot of karmic energy with Pisces. Saturn is one of the lords of karma. And look, we have the asteroid karma exactly conjunct this full moon. Isn't that something? I don't see karma as like, you know, you get what you deserve. And, you know, I was a jerk yesterday, so somebody's going to be a jerk to me tomorrow, or, you know, it's not literal tit for tat. Like, that's not how it's not how the universe works. Okay, the karma that we carry individually is a mix of our own actions in this life and all of our lives, but it's also the effect of other people's actions that we carry, or effects of the world that we live in, or of an emotional experience that we have. It's the way that our spirit, psyche, mind, and heart becomes a little bit altered due to something that we experienced, whether it be at our own hand or another's hand or nobody's hand. So it isn't quite exactly this, you know what I'm saying? It's deeper than that. It's more than that. So this is a very karmic situation that we're all having right now. For some of us, it will be more emotional. For others, you may be tapping into this Mars conjunct the supergalactic center, which gives a potential insatiable hunger for things like action, for justice, for things to move and change. But also this can flare some tempers, which is a good thing to know. If you're interacting with other people, if you're out in the world, you might want to know that some people could be really freaking agitated right now. The sun is separating from the annual opposition it makes with Saturn, which can make us all more aware of our limits. And that can really frustrate, you know, depending on the limit, depending on the person, the situation, that can be a very agitating situation. So with Mars stepping into a conjunction with the supergalactic center, Mars energy becomes insatiable. So you know what all that is. That's all the Mars things. That's seeking courage, maybe misplacing our anger, or maybe just feeling righteous anger, feeling frustration that gets us moving towards a karmic balance. A lot of ways that can go. It can also be, you know, sensual hungers, things of that nature. Now, we also, just a side note, we have the asteroid goddess of discord, Eris, who is conjunct the North Node right now. This is another, you know, the reason I said that about tempers is because of these specific two things happening. With Eris kind of guiding our collective North Node, you know, she's not so much a table flipper, Eris, as she is a bear poker to kind of see what happens, to kind of, she's a little bit of a devil's advocate with a lot more edge, if you know what I mean. So keep that in mind as well. So let me see here. What other aspects do we have going on? Saturn's the guy. So let's talk about this with Saturn. So Saturn and Pisces energy in a lot of ways are kind of opposite, where Saturn is the reason, like Saturn is form, matter, the material world, real things that you can, you know, touch and pick up and smell. This is all Saturn. We have bones in our body because that's why Saturn rules the bones, because our bones give our body form. Where Pisces is none of that. Pisces is mist and vapor and catch me if you can. You know, you can't really, there is no form to Pisces. So what is this about when these two energies are together? There's a lot of nuance here, but it could go some of these ways. One way it could be is the responsibility to give our dreams a real framework in the real world, to have, you know, Saturn wants us to be responsible. He doesn't want us to sit on our heels and just dream all day and then expect our life to change or progress in any way. It's not how it works. It isn't about sitting back and just thinking good thoughts and then everything working out for you. We have to have action. There has to be guts behind our desires. We have to make decisions and take practical steps and do sometimes things that feel hard, but not everything that feels hard actually is hard. And Saturn likes it when we know that difference. Just because something requires effort or time, what if we didn't think of that as hard? You know, that's just living in this realm. Things, there's timing. We have the awareness of linear time. which is not real, but it's real in this realm, right? Linear time is a construct of this realm, and we have to understand that in order to master it. So linear time exists in this realm. I was going to say in this realm only, but I don't really know that. There could be another realm where linear time exists, but we know it exists in this one. But in reality, time is all happening at once. All of our past lives are all happening now. Everything is happening now. There is no past. There is no future. So Saturn wants us to kind of, if there's a fog, if we've been in a fog, just going to say it that way. If we've been in a fog, Saturn's a little bit like, snap out of it. Let's get real. Let's get real with this. Another thing I want to mention with this is that, you know, with navigational astrology, I tend to use a lot of nautical metaphors just because I like them. So if you imagine yourself, you're on your boat, you're navigating the sea or the ocean, and you're navigating by the stars. You're using the sky as your guide, and you look up and it's all clouds. You can't see it. So that's Pisces bringing the clouds where you can't see where you're going. So what do you do then in that moment? Saturn offers some suggestions. One is that you drop an anchor and wait until the sky is clear and you can clearly navigate again. That anchor is a connection to the earth. The anchor goes through the water to the very real, material, solid earth. So you have that grounded cable, that grounded connection in all of that confusion. Okay. The other thing is your boat itself, your physical self, the things that are physically holding up your life, your world, your body. Those are your supports. It's like a life raft if you're lost. It's like a sandwich if you're starving. So if we're kind of lost in the other worlds, or lost in a fog, lost in a dream, and we can't find our way out, and this is, of course, all metaphorical, Saturn is here to help. Big Daddy Saturn. He's got a plate of vegetables and some vitamins and a nice soft bed for us so we can take care of our physical bodies. Now, we do have a couple very special stars involved with this full moon. The moon herself is conjunct fixed star Deneb Adige, who is one of the Behenian stars. This is the tail of the royal swan. I talk about Cygnus all the time, the royal swan. I love this constellation, and I love this star, Deneb Adige. So stick a pin in that. We have Deneb Adige, the royal swan. Think about, what do swans mean to you? When you think of swans, what do you think of? One of the things I think of is the story of the ugly duckling. The story of the duckling who everyone was like, you are so hideous. What even are you? Ew. And then that little ugly duckling transformed into the most glorious, beautiful, graceful, dignified swan. So we have something that is becoming something else that is utterly magical and amazing. But there was no way to know how amazing it was going to be when we were just looking at the beginning thing, when we were just looking at the thing that was about to change. What was it even going to be, right? The sun is conjunct fixed star Thuban, who is Alpha Draconis in the Draco constellation. Now, this star, again, another amazingly powerful star. But to sort of abbreviate, this powerful protector star, Thuban is a protector, has a particular quality about sort of taking, making lemonade out of lemons, or taking a crap situation and transforming it into something amazing. In addition, magical things happen when Thuban is in the room. Like there's this like extraordinary energy that is available and tends to just kind of swoop in sometimes when Thuban is involved. So all of this is kind of telling the same story, isn't it? If you have been struggling, you can have hope. If things have felt compressed, like, I mean, God, we're all going through it, right? We're all going through it. And this moon and these energies are here to help us. Saturn is our friend. Saturn is saying it's your responsibility to dream, and it's also your responsibility to give your dreams structure. So let's take all of these energies from the Royal Swan, from Alpha Draconis, the Draco constellation, Thuban, and even Eris and the Mars, and Mars at the super galactic center. All of these energies are supportive of something that you're looking at that you can't imagine what it's going to become, absolutely transforming into something incredible. It may not be this red hot minute, but we're on that track. We're on that track. Come back to this video in 6 months and see what has happened. Think back to February. Again, like I was saying, if something big happened in February, this is for you. This is for you. And I'm just going to tell you, if you have a lot of Sagittarius placements, or if you are a Sagittarius rising, this full moon is all up your guts. It's all up in your feelings, like the deepest part of you. It's at the bottom of your chart. It's like that sort of, it's a very raw emotional experience, most likely. But let's get into some readings, some messages for all the signs. And I'm going to start with Pisces, because this is your full moon, Pisces. You know what I mean? So if you are a Pisces rising, or you have Pisces placements, then this energy is about you, yourself, your body, your identity, your very being, your essence. Let's see what the cards have to say. Okay. Oh, look at this. Beautiful. So you're beginning something real. This is Saturn's blessing. Beginning something real that is paving a new path forward for actual worldly success, stability, security, responsibility, and generosity. And you've been not making a lot of moves lately, but that's okay. There's a time for that. There's a time for just waiting. But recognize how much energy it takes to wait. It takes a lot of energy to wait. You have any idea how much strength it takes to hold these swords like that for like a long time? That's a lot of strength. So waiting takes a different kind of strength, but it's still strength. So if you've been giving yourself a hard time for not making progress in ways that you think you should be making progress, take a breath and know that there is a darn good right time to sit and wait, to wait and see, to kind of have a little bit of a standoff with life to see what's coming and what we need to do about it. Along that note, listen, when you feel that impetus to kind of get going, I don't know if you can see that, but this is the Nine of Cups. This is like all of your self-satisfaction, all of this is like you filling all of your cups, because you get to have this full experience of having your vision, waiting for the right time. And that's what you're doing. Even if you don't realize that's what you're doing, that is what you're doing. There is a wisdom to the pause, to the like the linear time thing. There's a reason for that. Sometimes other pieces are being moved around so that they can align with our co-creation with others. So congratulations, Pisces. Happy full moon. Like, what happened in February? Let me know in the comments. I would really love to know what happened for you in February, because this is big. This is big. Let me know. Big love to you. All right, Aries. Aries, this full moon could have you feeling a little bit like you prefer your own energy a little bit. And, you know, you might be feeling a little bit off. This is happening in your 12th house, which is the house of karma. It's the Pisces house. It's the house of endings, but it's also like where we do stuff that, like where we hold ourselves back, but we can't see it. We don't know what we don't know about ourselves in this situation. Okay, so if you're feeling a little off, a little weird, that's all right. This will pass. Will pass. Let's see what the cards have to say. Okay. All right. So, you know, there's a new there might be some way you're thinking about something that is not particularly helpful. And not that there isn't value in it, or not that you're right or wrong. It's not even about that. It's more like, is this helpful? Is this mature? And not even mature, is this wise? Because sword energy is all about the clarity of our mind and using that clarity to have mature wisdom flowing, where we learn from our past, we learn from our mistakes. And, you know, this is interesting since this is happening in your 12th house, where we, you know, where our own undoing lives. It's where we undo ourselves. We can't figure out why, like where we spin in these cycles that we can't figure out. How do we get out? Where's the exit, right? Where's the exit? How do I get off this train? It is sword energy that can help stop that loop. And sometimes, you know, he's got his sword up. He's like, all right, I'm just going to cut this cord. I'm going to cut the loop, and we're going to get off this train. All right. That sounds pretty good. Now, someone in your life, or you, this is the King of Cups. I know these, there we go, the King of Cups. Again, there's a message about being mature emotionally, being mature with your thoughts, being mature emotionally, because something is ending. This is, the cycle is over and done. Like this is, it's done. It's done. You can slice through this loop. You can step out of it. You can walk away, because it's done. And there's an inspiration available on the other side of this. And it helps if you're able to connect with your own emotional dignity. And emotional dignity is not about denying or like behaving or any of that. None of that. Screw all that. Dignity is about understanding yourself, understanding your capacity to feel what you're feeling. Because when we bump up against the edges of what is comfortable for us to feel, that's when we think the shit's hitting the fan. That's when we think it's all gonna collapse. But that's rarely true. Often, all we need to do is just take care of our nervous system a little bit and see if we can't breathe some space so that we can hold all of what we are experiencing. Happy full moon, Aries. How are you? Let me know how this resonates. Let me know how you're doing. Taurus. Happy full moon, Taurus. So, Taurus, this full moon is happening in your 11th house. And you know, this is the house of our, like, it's often thought of as the friend. Whoa. The house of friendships. But it's not really that. I mean, it's more like our our acquaintances, or the people we associate with, the people we think we are on the same page with and working towards the same stuff, kind of. It's also the place where we borrow joy. We borrow warm fuzzies from what we are thinking about our future. So it's like our future hopes and dreams that we can enjoy the feeling of now. Interesting, right? It's a very complex house, the 11th house. So let's see what the cards have to say, because you know, it's almost like you could be totally changing your vision for what you want your life to be. And when we change our vision, we change who we want to be associated with. We change who we want to be around, who we want to listen to, whose content we want to digest, right? Who we want to give our time to. It might be time to be very clear about those things. And if you're not yet clear, this full moon very well may help you figure that out. And the truth is, it's a cycle and the wheel is turning and things are always changing. So it's not that any of this is bad or good, or, you know, like, it's not like you're being rewarded or punished or anything like that. It's just the movement of time. It's the shuffling of people and spaces. You know what I mean? And you also get to have some fun in that. This tells me that you are leaning toward spending time with people who don't drain the ever-loving life out of you. Like, no more energy vampires, no more like chronic complaining. Like, what if we let ourselves have some fun? What if we let other people have some fun? Somebody has a person in their life who is like a chronic complainer, and I'm seeing them as like this nagging voice, and it's a relationship of habit. Like, this is a person that has been in your life for a long time. It could be a family member, but sometimes friends are like that too. We keep friendships out of habit, or we stay in groups and clubs and certain associations. We keep them out of habit. Are they feeding you? Are they feeding you in a way that feels joyful? Because this joy is really important, and you're going to want to walk away from things that don't feel that way to you. Okay? It's okay to grieve that, but like, what's that saying? It's like, there's some saying or some quote about, you can tell where you're going. You can tell your own future based on the company you keep. Keep that in mind. Sometimes it hurts to walk away from those people, and maybe some of them are walking away from you, and that's also okay. It's okay if you're the one that people are walking away from. It just means you're on a different path, man. It's totally fine. Happy full moon, Taurus. You're my favorite. Let me know how you are. Gemini, happy full moon. How are you? So this full moon could very well bring some major changes in your relationships and what you're like doing with your life. Not so much talking about your job. This is in your 10th house. So this is more about like what you're offering to the world and what people know about you, what you're known for. Some of you are having some relationship breakups or culminations in relationships. That's associated with this as well. There's a lot of endings, but endings are also new beginnings that we just don't know quite how they're going to work out yet. Kind of like my gosh, something just tickled my leg. I think I shedded onto my own leg and it felt like an ant was crawling on me. Anyway, TMI. But yeah, there are relationship endings, and this is a full moon of endings, and that's okay. That's okay, because without that space, when we plant a seed, we have to make space for it in the ground, or else it would just sit on top and it would never actually germinate. It would never grow anything if we don't make space for it. And so in a way, that making space is an ending, but it feels scary or bad when we call it an ending. But what if we just called it making space? You're making space for yourself to have a more authentic presence in the world, what you're offering, what you're doing, how you're serving. It's time for all of that to be more reflective of who you really are, Gemini. And also, some of you need to hear that it's okay for you to do more than one thing. You don't have to do just one thing. And in fact, if you are a Gemini sun, or if you have a lot of Gemini energy, you better have two things, or else you're going to get bored to death. But, don't spread yourself too thin. Don't end up being like too little butter spread over too much bread. You want to protect your potency while also stimulating your interest and your childlike, beautiful curiosity. You don't have to have it all figured out this hot minute. Make this space for whatever is wanting to come into your life. Let's see what the cards have to say. Yeah. Yeah. So, these fields are fertile. There's a new beginning here. Definitely career-wise, or what you're doing, what you're offering, how you are embodying your soul-led cosmic job description. There's a new path. New seeds are being planted. It's funny, I used that metaphor, right? And, you might have to let go of, I know it's a lot about letting go, but like, it's not all about money. Not everything is about money. Not everything is about like feeling good this hot minute. I think it's the Good Witch who calls the devil card sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It's a good place to visit, but you wouldn't want to live there. It's time to let go of the things that aren't coming with you. Doesn't mean you can't visit with them later on. You know what I'm saying? But also, it's not all about money. If you are afraid of making a move because of money, there's got to be a different way to look at it, especially if that feels so lit up to you that you can't not do it, but you're so worried about money. You might want to come talk to me or talk to someone, get some guidance on that, because it's not always about money. And in reality, you are, again, leaving some things behind here. Leaving some things behind. You may actually be moving house, but whatever you're doing, the road ahead is going to be much smoother. But you are going to have to travel a little bit light. It's just making room for all the goodies. Happy full moon, Gemini. Let me know how this resonates and how you are doing this full moon. All right, Cancer. Cancer, my love, this full moon is happening in your 9th house. And, you know, I'm hearing in my mind that that is a blessing for you. Yeah. Wow, Cancer. Yeah, there is some sort of path that is calling you. Some of you are considering a new path of study, or learning with a teacher, or taking on some new kind of skill development. It's feeling very 8 of Pentacles to me, like you kind of working behind the scenes, perfecting your skills, honing your skills, really learning and becoming super mega sharp. And it's going to be connected with your passions. It's a passionate new beginning, and it's going to lead you to just general support, foundations that actually support you in a way that, where it's like actually safe for you to celebrate, for you to take a breather. And look at this. Look at your cards. Cancer, good for you. Got the Queen of Pentacles here. So this is a beautiful, this is feeling very grounded to me for you, Cancer. It's feeling safe, and it may not feel safe this very moment, but if you let this unfold for the next 6 months, see how all of these energies integrate, I think you're going to be really pleasantly surprised. If you have been looking for a confirmation about something, this is it. It's a yes. It's a yes. It's a yes. How about that? It's actually a yes for once, finally. Yeah. You're looking very dignified, Cancer. You're looking solid and grounded and generous and sensual. And you know, all that is worthy of celebrating. It's worth enjoying, especially in physical ways. Saturn likes that. Saturn isn't mad at us when we enjoy the physical realm and all of the fruits of our labor, fruits of the earth, karmic fruits, fruits that are karmic rewards, or balancing of the scales. This feels like a great balance, like something is going your way, Cancer. Congratulations and happy full moon. And let me know how this lands for you. And again, it's like there's some of you are about to have an experience, or are having an experience that is beyond anything that you could have banked on, wished for, any of that. It's like it's outside of your comfort zone. And you know, if you're a Cancer, sometimes that can feel a little scary, but this is your confirmation to, you know, sometimes we've got to walk towards what we're afraid of. Yeah, it's going to be okay, Cancer. Happy full moon. All right, Leo. Happy full moon, Leo. How are you? So, Leo, this full moon is happening in your 8th house. This is your house of intense experiences, transformation, sex and death, other people's money, but it's power that we share. This is a house that is deeply involved with other people. So you're not alone in this, whatever is going on. Now, this full moon could have you feeling a lot of in your feels. It could be feeling extra emotional. You could be almost walking around a little bit like you don't have skin, and that's perfectly okay. Do what you need to do to take care of yourself for these, especially the few days around this full moon. If you start feeling like your emotional waters are overcoming you, see a friend, take care of, like, treat yourself to something like your favorite coffee or something that feels nourishing to you, that can calm your nervous system a little bit, because this could be intense. And the good news is that it's actually, oh, look at this. You got the star card, Leo. Whatever, if I'm not going to say whatever is bothering you, because that's assuming something is bothering you. But if something has been bothering you, this is your confirmation that it's going to be okay. There's a positive outcome. There's healing coming your way. And, you know, I wish the light wasn't so bright on this. Let's see. There we go. That's a little better. You know, the star card is, this is the Aquarius card. And this water is being poured on the earth in addition to being poured back in the water. So it's not that, it's not so much that, it's not so much about balance as it is about diversifying your focus. So, I'm getting this metaphor about the soft lens. Like, that filter, it's kind of probably outdated now, but there used to be like a soft lens filter where you could put it on your camera and it would like fuzz out everybody's wrinkles and acne and all of that. And, sometimes looking at life with the soft lens is a really good thing to do. It's very Piscean. It's very Piscean to let your vision become a little bit blurry so that you don't have to fuss about the details until it's time to fuss about the details. There's a time for all of it. Saturn likes it when we know that. Saturn likes it when we understand our capacity and say, you know what, right now I've got to fuzz out my focus because I cannot deal with everything coming at me right now. Or I don't want to make that decision right now. It doesn't feel right, or whatever. Soften your gaze. This also is coming up about criticism. It is Virgo season. And, Virgo, the dumpster fire of Virgo is, of course, hyper criticism, and a good way to deal with any of that coming up, or any of that coming at you from others, or coming from within you towards others or towards yourself. Soften that gaze, baby. Soften it up, because what you think is something like to be critical about right now, or something you're worried about, is it's just taking some time. There's not anything wrong with it. It's just taking some time. This card is about literally reaping what we sow, and it's about the span of time of planting a seed and harvest, and what we do along the way that affects our harvest. So you can use this skill of metaphorically softening your gaze to allow this natural process to happen. You'll know the right time. You'll know when it's time to make a move. You'll know when to clarify your vision and make like yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. You'll absolutely know. You just have to trust yourself. And that self-trust is going to let you take this and run with it. And it's going to be great. Happy full moon, Leo. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know how this resonates. Virgo. Happy full moon, Virgo. It's your season. This full moon is absolutely about other people, your relationships, and, to the point where it may not even be about your relationships themselves, like the status of them or how they're going, or it could actually be about people close to you and things that are happening in their lives. If you're partnered, this full moon could be very pivotal for your partner. It could also be pivotal for your actual relationship, but sometimes it's the other way, where it's actually our partner who needs us or who is having something huge happen in their life. They need us to cheerlead for them. They need our support, or they need us to celebrate with them. It can be all number of things. We also have our trust wounds in the room here. And oh, wow. Oh my goodness, Virgo. Okay. Well, the cards are definitely speaking of romantic entanglements. They are speaking about some of you are choosing at long last to walk away from relationships that you know are not right for you. And this isn't just about romance, as of course, it's about all of our one-on-one relationships. These could be just walking away from a contract or an agreement that isn't for you anymore. But I do have to kind of add that this isn't like a clean cut thing. This is feeling very emotional, but I've got to show you the cards. I've got to show you the cards, because you've got the Eight of Cups. This is the walking away, the grieving, leaving something that is a no so that you can walk towards something that is a yes, or that something that is a yes can walk towards you and find you. And for many of you, this is the only way that this true love can find you. If you are partnered miserably and you're afraid to leave and you're waiting kind of to have someone lined up before you leave the one you're with, this is your call to not do that. Okay. If this is you, you've got to walk away so it can find you, so you can find it. Okay. And it's very important that you realize that, you're not a victim in this. You're not. I actually really love this card. This card is deeply connected to the Two of Swords, where that's the card of like impasse, where we're just kind of having a standoff and nobody's going to make any decisions and nobody's going to make any moves, and we're just going to sit here holding these megaton swords and act like it's easy to do. No. Same thing here. She's not trapped. This looks like a terrifying scene, but it's all show, man. Like, it's all show. There is nothing in existence that can keep you from what is yours. You know what I mean? Not even yourself. Not even you can keep you away from what is yours. I don't mean to be trite, but it's true. Like, we think that our mistakes are so powerful, and I'm not saying that they don't count, but it's like sometimes we give too much weight to things. And if you've been waiting for something, like, we get stuck in these loops of like, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. It is 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 going to happen. But you've got to make room for it. You've got to walk away what is a no-go. Because something new can't step into a room that's already full. It can't lay down in a bed that's already full. And that's literal and metaphorical, you know what I mean? So I'm actually hearing that you get a second card. Yeah, there's, oh, Virgo, you're holding on so tightly to something. Oh, Virgo, you're holding on really tightly. And I'm sure you have really good reasons for that. But you can loosen the grip a little bit. You can, lean a little bit to the side and cut off some of these binds that are binding you. You can do that. And Virgo, a lot of us carry so much weight because we don't trust other people to be competent. We don't trust people to make proper decisions. We think that we have to do all of that, or that if we're not doing it, that we can't trust it. And I'm not saying that's not true. I'm not saying that you're wrong about that. What I am saying is that when it comes to trust, and this full moon is in your place of trust, your place of your trust wounds. Trust is not about other people promising you things or, behaving a certain way. It just isn't. We can never control or know what other people are going to do. Nothing is guaranteed when it comes to other people's actions and behaviors. Trust is actually about us. Trust is about our trust in ourselves, that we've got our own back no matter what they do, whatever they do. And I'm not kind of making light about people like breaking commitments or lying, cheating, stealing, and all that nonsense. No, they shouldn't do that. And that sucks. But we never had any control about that anyway. That's all them. It's all them. And on one hand, it may sound like I'm saying you really can't trust anyone. And in a way, I am, but not like you can't take a risk. I'm just saying there are no guarantees. You can't guarantee that you'll be safe forever, but you can guarantee that you've got that you are safe always in your own company, that you are a safe place for yourself. Happy full moon, Virgo. Let me know how you are. Let me know how this lands. And for those of you who are finding new love that you have been waiting for and searching for forever, congratulations. Enjoy. Libra, happy full moon. This full moon, you could feel it very physically in your body. This landing in your 6th house, this is the house of your health, your physical self. It is your Virgo house. It's your house of self-improvement, like improving your skills, but it's also about ritual. Ritual. The things we do every day are habits. There could be a habit that you're ready to break finally. Something that maybe you've tried to, maybe like smoking, or, something that that you don't want to do anymore, that you haven't had success breaking. This is the time to try again, because you could have success finally. And really, all the forces are supportive of that for all signs. This is a beautiful, perfect time to engage with releasing old habits and adopting new ones that are supportive of the life vision that we hold. So that's one of the things that's up for you, Libra. And oh yeah, oh yeah. Wow, Libra. Okay, so you feeling a bit worn out? You worn out? Doing too much? Saying yes too much? So it's time to ask for some help, accept help, say no to some things. You got to put some of this down. And you know what? You're ready. It's time. It's time for that change. You don't have to say yes all the time. You really don't. Because you realize how much this is affecting your mental well-being, your ability to approach each day with clarity and wisdom. You don't have access to that when you're so exhausted. Get some rest. And actually, that's almost all the cards are saying, to like say no, get some rest, and then after that, we'll talk again, because the moon card is here saying, things are unclear. There's something about timing, so it's kind of like the big time messages are here. Put some of these wands down so you can sleep at night, so you're not worried. Libra, you're not responsible for everyone being okay all the time. That's too much responsibility to carry. That's not your burden. You're very sweet for wanting everyone to be okay. That's a beautiful quality. But if that's, if worrying about upsetting people, having boundaries, what I mean is, if you are worried that you having boundaries is going to upset people, and that's what's got you in this situation, you've probably reached the end of being able to do that anymore. So you've completed this lesson. Congratulations. Get some rest. Get some rest, because in a new state of having access to all of your vitality again, you can move mountains in this next 6 months. Mark my words, come back in 6 months and tell me that that isn't what happened. I bet it is what happened. Happy full moon, Libra. Scorpio, happy full moon. Scorpio, how are you? So this is a very passionate full moon for you. It's falling in your 5th house. So, you could be, oh yes, oh yes. I pulled these cards without before even saying anything. Yeah, so the 5th house, this is your house of romance, fun, risk-taking, and your creative expression. So, think back to February. What were the themes? See what themes are coming up now, because, there's a lot of fire around you. There's a lot of passionate energy around you. This could be romantic or creative fires. Either way, that's super yum. And, this is your green light. Take that fire and run with it, because you're going to do so well. It's going to be so good. You are going to be celebrated. You're going to be celebrated. Imagine that. And honestly, once this starts rolling, once this gets some momentum, it's going to go really fast. So if you've been feeling stagnant, if things haven't been moving, a lot in your life, that is really about to change. And again, if you have something going on that you've been wanting a confirmation on, this is your confirmation. It's a yes. These are Cupid's arrows. They're also, indicative of lots of communication, lots of back and forth. Of course, Mercury is retrograde, so make room for miscommunications in all of this communication going on. But that's part of that activity. That's really, and it doesn't have to be literal communication. It's really just activity. Once this ball starts rolling, it's going to pick up steam really fast. And congratulations, Scorpio. This looks really, really fun for you. Imagine that. Imagine that. Some of you are having some sexy times, and this full moon could be really good for that. So happy full moon, Scorpio. Let me know how you are. Sagittarius, happy full moon. So I know I said earlier, Sag, this full moon could be lighting up your inner world in a way that could be emotionally overwhelming. At the same time, you could be receiving messages from loved ones who are on the other side. Your dream world, dream walking could be very active at this time. Some of you have been dreaming about crows. Have you been dreaming about crows? Yeah. So, honestly, if you are a Sagittarius rising, whenever the moon is in Pisces, just in general, those can be days that you kind of, you're more likely to bump up against some sadness, but you can know that it's just going to pass. It's just passing. It's part of the cycle, baby. It's part of just how we roll as being human beings, human feelings in this 3D Saturnian structured world. We have to have days where we just cry it out, it just be like that. But the real story beyond that emotional experience that may or may not come for you, Sag. So it's going to be really important going forward that you lead the way. And by lead the way, I mean that in all the ways, but mostly I mean that you've really got what it takes to be your own boss, to be the captain of your own ship. You don't have to necessarily take in everybody else's ideas. You probably know what you're talking about, probably know what you're doing, and you have the creative juice. You've got beautiful cards. Beautiful cards, Sag. I mean, you've got the Emperor. I mean, it's time to be the boss. It's time to be the king, queen, royal being of your life. Be like, you can say both yes and no with total conviction. You are standing in this creative corridor where you can actually bring forth things that you have been wanting to do, things that you've been wanting. Your creative juices are flowing. You're looking good. You're feeling good. People are looking at you like, dang, what have you been doing? Did you get some rest? Yeah, you got some rest. You got some self-care going on because people are noticing. And so there is a part of this where there's going to have to be a little bit of, come on. A little bit of patience. So with all of this fire you've got going on, if you hit a stalling point, if you feel like you've got to convince people, just know that you've got the strength, you've got the inner fortitude, you've already got it all going on. Other people may need to catch up, and that's okay. You can let them catch up, right? You've got some fun to have. You've got some naps to take. We want to keep up this newfound freshness. So take care of yourself while everybody else is catching up, because this is looking really good. The next 6 months, you're going to do amazing things. You're going to find some energy reserves that you didn't know you had, and you're going to create. You're going to create. Happy full moon, Sag. Let me know how you are, and let me know how this resonates. Capricorn, happy full moon to you. How are you? So, Cap, this full moon, this is a very mental full moon for you. This is about your mindsets, the way that you are communicating. This is in your third house. This is how you're processing information. You could be receiving information. You could, like, somebody could say something to you. You could say something to someone that changes everything. That's a total game changer. And I don't want you to take it at face value, though. Okay. And the reason I'm saying that is because you don't want to rush. You don't want to rush in right now. I'm not saying not to take any steps based on the information that you're getting, but there's something that is going to come up later about this that you're going to be glad that you moved a little bit slowly. You don't want to rush in. When we do things too quickly, we miss important things, especially during Mercury retrograde, or, Venus is still retrograde also. So take in the information, consider it. You could totally take on a yeah, maybe about everything anyone says, including what I'm saying. You could be like, maybe, Ananda. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Because, and I suggest you do that. Because on the other side of this retrograde season, and sort of when this full moon begins to integrate, you're going to have an overflow of inspiration, of loving spirituality, and it's going to change. It's going to change how you see the things that are coming in. Where if the same thing were to come right now, it wouldn't mean the same. You've got this, of course, because it's Saturn and it's linear time, there's this waiting period. And in this new waiting period, after you've chosen and consciously decided that you're not going to rush, you're not going to make rash decisions, and not only that, you're not going to feel stressed about that, right? It's totally okay to not decide, or to tentatively decide, and to feel perfectly aligned, knowing that this is coming, this inspiration, this spiritual nourishment, this love, which is both romantic love and spiritual love. You get to know that that's the real story. And you're going to be looking for it on the horizon with fresh eyes, because you trusted the process. Happy full moon, Capricorn. Let me know how you are. Aquarius, happy full moon. This full moon could have something coming up with your money. This is in your second house, your house of your stuff, your money, your finances, your things, but it's really, really about your own freaking personal power, what you have access to, what you can do yourself, not with anybody else. What you can do, what you have, what you are, your self-worth, your self-value. Okay. Saturn in this house, in your come on, words. Saturn being in your second house for a while here is really bringing some of these themes in. So you may be kind of experiencing a change in your money flow. So you do want to be responsible, have a budget, have a plan. Don't like be free, wild spending. Be responsible with your money. Not necessarily because there's going to be a shortage, but just to manage your resources in a responsible way so that you can maintain your relative comfort going forward, right? The other thing is that in doing so, in taking care of your own resources, you learn to trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, you're able to take better calculated risks. And that's a big theme for you for this full moon. Okay. There's a message here to be responsible emotionally, to not like, what I really mean by this is to own your stuff, to own your own emotions, and to recognize when other people aren't able to do that, so you don't take that on. Okay. It's not about denying other people's experience, but it is about knowing what's yours and knowing what's theirs, what's their personal problem, and what's, your business, right? There's also a message here for some of you to, how can I say this? How can I say this so that YouTube won't censor me? Okay. You want to be responsible not only emotionally, but you want to be responsible physically with your affections and the expression of those affections, because excuse me, some of you may be dabbling in some situationships that have strings attached. Interesting. And you're not getting the truth about some things. Okay. So be when you are aware of what's yours and what's someone else's, you're better able to assess people's nonsense if they're bringing it to you. Okay. So watch out for strings attached. Doesn't mean everybody's got strings attached or that part of the message is for everyone, but you'll know if that's you. The other side of that is that there's a lot of positive energy flowing toward you. And when that, like at what I'm seeing for you specifically, Aquarius, is that when this level of sort of generosity comes toward you or comes for you, you have to be responsible about it. You know what I mean? Like, you've got to make sure you're not getting karmically tied up with some things, with people's promises or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So happy full moon. Let it settle, though. We got 6 months for this to settle. So let it settle, let it integrate, and then see how it feels. And you could get a clearer message about what this is about on like over the weekend. Okay. Happy full moon, Aquarius. All right, that's everyone. Happy full moon, everyone. Thank you so much for spending some of your time with me. Much love. I'll see you very soon.